Ladies and gentlemen, once again, all our fellow constituents of our community, our scholars, our master teachers, and of course, as I call myself, a student, I am truly honored to have in Cannon's class a brother that I've looked up to on so many levels, from hip-hop to the conscious community to just true activism in the streets. Probably one of the first scholars that I was ever introduced to, with the title professor in front of his name. I'm honored to have a legend in the building. Professor Griff, welcome to Cannon's class.
It's a pleasure to be here, man. We appreciate that.
Peace, God.
Now, peace to the God. I'm a reflection of you.
Man, so I don't even know where to begin. I mean, we going to jump into so many things, but we usually have a framing question because this is a class, right, and text. And not only do we have new text, a warrior's tapestry that you put together, which for all the young brothers and sisters that always want to get involved into and it's beyond the world of consciousness, because I'm falling back of using that term, but a lot of people are trying to get more and more enlightened. They get introduced, and then they want to know what to read or what to pick up or what to eat. This book right here is the greatest tool to get us introduced into this world, to where you can start digging a little deeper into some of your other books. The psychological covert war on hip hop, volumes 1 and 2, and so many other books. So we're gonna start in this space, but all of these books are available. We'll just start it off top. How if somebody wants to get your newest book or any of your books, how do they do that?
Well, it's really simple. I'm approachable, and I'm there for people to reach me. Everybody and their grandmother has my phone number. 678-557-2919.
Damn, that's real. That's super solid right
real.
there.
That's my cell phone number. 678-557-2919. Or they just go to my website, professorgriff.me. And it's strange how I got the professorgriff.me. I went to go get professorgriff.com, which some dude had it and wanted to argue with me on the phone. I'm like, bro, come on, man. It's like,
that's crazy.
He's like, I know who you are. I'm like, well, can we make
come
a
up
deal
off
on
my
that?
joint?
Right. I'm serious.
Come
up off that domain name. But anyway.
And you can catch you on your live, Instagram, all of that. So he's very accessible. And again, like I said, it's an honor. And man, there's so many, because we got a chance to chop it up and build before this.
Right.
So there's so many things that I want to touch on and dive into, because not only do you drop those gems, but you speak in sound bites. So I know. But I just want to tap into the history real quick, man. Like even going back to Public Enemy, and even in the name Professor Griff, and you being one of the founders. How did this all come about in the golden age of hip hop? You guys had a lock on being that militant voice. Where did all of that come from?
Wow. I think the beauty of the Creator bringing us together in Roosevelt, Long Island, and Freeport on one side, Uniondale, Merrick and Baldwin, then Hempstead. I think that area right there, Chuck's mom, knowledge of self, activist. My mom, strong in the community. Miss Boxley, who is Hank and Keith Shockley's mom, the Bomb Squad. And then musicians around us and other people. I think it was a beautiful thing that they offered Chuck D the deal from Def Jam, because he was there with Flavor at Adelphi University on the air, over at a college radio
going
station,
crazy,
playing different things. I'm at the youth center, martial arts classes. One of those instrumental individuals that was at the youth center, having study groups, people getting knowledge of self and that kind of thing. And I think it came together a lot larger than I could put it into words, bro, because it was one of them things where, and I think Chuck, knowing what he wanted to do with the whole Public Enemy thing, because they offered him the deal, not us.
Right.
It was a Chuck D thing, Chucky D.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah.
It was a Chucky D thing.
Right.
And then He said no, he wanted to do the group thing. We didn't understand the Flavor role dynamic.
Right.
I guess some people didn't even understand my role being the minister of information. And had to bring the information.
Yeah.
But it all came together, and it all worked thanks to Chuck having the vision to bring it together.
Right.
I think a lot of people tell the story, but they don't tell it through the lens that the average person can readily understand it, as opposed to it being in some press statement that goes out.
Right.
If you in the hood and you at the youth center and you training people up on your block, martial arts, you having study groups, and you responsible for people's lives, how did that end up becoming a hip hop group?
Right.
Somebody had to have some vision, and Chuck was the one with that vision and knew who to put in place. But the critical thing about this, to be frank and upfront with you,
Right.
I choreographed the show.
Yeah.
Putting it
The
together.
S1Ws.
You understand what I'm saying?
just
I
getting it
borrowed
on.
from the Nation of Islam on doing the drills and that kind of thing.
Right.
We came on stage with license plates about this big, S1Ws with Uzi machine
Yeah.
guns, dressed in paramilitary outfits like the Black Panthers and
The berets.
exactly.
Yeah.
And we thought the theatrical thing was there. It was entertaining to look at, but a lot of people came to hear Public Enemy. Some people came to see Public Enemy, and we had the responsibility of synthesizing it, and then not only that, pointing them to those organizations.
Yeah.
That was
What was so powerful, and to me, like the way I tapped into it,
Right.
like, and I was a kid, like a
Right.
kid, 8 years old, 7, 8, something. But to see someone like Flavor, to see Chuck, to see y'all, to
Right.
see Terminator X, and to understand it was every element of my hood. It was every element of the projects, to where
Right.
Flav was the wild,
Yeah.
crazy, fat, the
Right.
fashion. Chuck was more of like the teacher. You were more the militant,
Right.
and Terminator X was the dude with the sound. You know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
saw every element of my
Right.
hood in Public Enemy. So I saw the dichotomy of the crazy boy to really hear to you. It was almost like the opposite to see as Chuck being the mouthpiece, and to see the stern discipline,
Right.
to see the martial arts, to see even the aspects of the nation, and then to see, but you can still have fun. You can still,
Right, right,
I
exactly.
saw all of that, and I don't know if that was by design, but it was an entry point for everyone.
I know it was by. Let me not say. I know it was by design, but there's a grand design.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? It's our design, but then again, there's the grand design, because it shook the industry.
Yeah.
So much so the people around us wanted to then become, a lot more conscious about what they eat,
Yeah.
how they think, some of the songs, and our peers respected us. The Houdinis, the Run DMCs, the LLs, even the Beastie Boys, EPMD, Eric B. and Rakim,
BDP.
Jazzy Jeff, and the Fresh Prince, BDP. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Poor Righteous Teachers.
Yeah.
So it was a mutual level of respect. A lot of people outside of those people that I mentioned couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
How the hell y'all saying what y'all saying, man, and y'all not?
People say that about me to this day, like, yo, how you doing this and still doing that? But so I feel you on that.
I'll be
like,
honest with you, I did. I questioned. I'm like, wait a minute, he up in that space.
How-
How you moving?
Like, how
That's why
you
I
up-
asked you earlier about your health. Are you good?
Yeah, and even now, people like, because the documentary we were just a part of, and all, people like, man, you got to watch who's preparing your food for you. You got to watch how you move, and it's not even on something we not operating in fear, but the fact that we speaking so much truth that we just got to be more aware.
Exactly.
And I felt like y'all brothers was aware, and that's what I really want to get into, because you talk about the grand design, and we talked about the neutralization of our messages and in our people. That happened to you in a real way, in real time, to where you were the one that everyone came after when you started to speak. And I mean, I know you've spoken about this so many times, but I just want to, give context to some of these younger people out there, to where Public Enemy has such a voice and was waking up so many young people in our community through hip hop when it was still new. And I want you to talk about it, because I don't want to, because you here, but there was
but you have to help me contextualize it.
Yeah. So as I saw it as a young man, that as the Minister of Information. And like I said, it's an honor to have the Minister of Information in Cannon's class. But you had so much information and was so fearless in your message. And through Public Enemy, I felt like you were the one that had the most substance and weight in speaking unapologetically, because Chuck had to do it. He was the MC. He couldn't be so out there in his message, and he had to
make it fly.
Yeah,
okay,
he had to be an entertainer. But you were like, I'm just giving it to you raw and uncut. And if you could contextualize it and kind of, because I don't know the entirety of it all, but from my understanding, there was some information that you put out there specifically about the Jewish community that, again, where you were asked to apologize, or the entire group was asked to distance themselves from you. And that was kind of the first, that, as I saw, the divide of Public Enemy, to where they had to go on and continue to be an entertainment group. And you stuck to your guns and said, I'm Griff. I'm Professor Griff. I will always be the Minister of Information, and I'm not going to apologize. So I'll step away and be myself and allow you guys to go on. Please expound on that and just enlighten us all on how it really happened, because that's how I saw it, and that's what I was told. But I would love to hear firsthand what really happened with, one, what was actually said, why they asked you to apologize. And I mean, I didn't even know there's some subtext and some other characters like the Leor Cohens who were a part of that process.
And the Bill Adlers.
Yeah. And so please just break it down from how it happened and to where we are today.
Well, let's break it down, and let's break it down in small bits where people can actually get it. Like a lot of people that are coming into consciousness, where they are right now. I sat at the elders of the Dr. Benz and the John Henry Clarks and the Professor Jeffries, Professor Smalls, Shashi McIntyre, and a few other people I could mention. Now, I'm there, physically there, not YouTubing it.
There was no YouTube back then.
You had to physically go there, write the notes, study.
Maybe get a VHS tape or something like
and
that.
if you had 5 of them in your, you were making a whole lot of noise on the train. I'm saying.
Right.
All right, so to my understanding, now I want to thank Khalid El Hakim from the Black History 101 Mobile Museum. He had set up a talk with a rabbi. This is recently. So, and I'm in front of a room full of Jewish people. And I'm asking basic questions, and maybe you can help me out. So let's look up the word anti-Semitic. Who are the Semitic people? And then we're going to get to the Public Enemy thing. So I looked up who is the Semitic people. And there's a list of Semitic people, and anyone can do this right now. You can look up who are the Semitic people, what are the Semitic languages. Has absolutely nothing to do with any white people. Not at all. So in order for me to be anti-Semitic, I'd have to be anti-black man, anti-black woman, anti-black people, anti-Africa, anti-all of the people.
Because the Semitic people
are black people.
So y'all get that clarity. We're going to say that again.
Now,
the Semitic people are black people.
So I cannot be anti-Semitic. Now, what do they really use the phrase anti-Semitic to do? That's the thing.
To divide us.
Exactly. So they put this title on you, anti-Semitic, and then they neutralize you, separated me from the group, say he's a Jew hater, he hate white people, he hate gay people, he hate all white people with freckles and red hair, whatever. And they put that on me, which I never said these things. You understand what I'm saying? I just ran down the history given to me by my elders. And anybody could read this for themselves. So it ain't a Professor Griff hating people thing. Now, closer to what happened with the Public Enemy thing, the brother by the name of James Baum, one of the X1Ws in the group, gave me some information because he was in touch with the research department of the Nation of Islam in Boston. Got the information, and we talk about the secret relationship between blacks and Jews. It was a manual. It wasn't even a book then.
Wow.
I got it. I went to Kinko's so I can get me a copy. The brother recognized me. Oh, you that dude from Public Enemy, man. For real. I said, yeah, bro, I got to get to this thing because I was the road manager, so I was responsible for everything. I gave it to him. The brother gave me a copy, but he made himself a copy also.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's a violation, but cool, bro.
But
Whoever you are.
He wanted some information.
He wanted some
He
information.
was hungry. He was thirsty.
Exactly. Okay. When I seen the brother again, dude gave me a box of them. And I gave James back his. So I read it. So now the spokespeople for the group, me and Chuck, we did all the interviews.
Right.
We sat down. We went to D.C. We was doing the interview that day, and it wasn't even my interview.
Right.
Chuck's interview, he didn't want to do it.
Right.
So I sat down with him. Now, mind you, I'm the Minister of Information.
Right.
I got 2 suitcases now.
Right.
I used to carry with 2 suitcases full of books.
Right. Right.
And so I laid them all out on the table. So when I went into the interview, I was ready.
Right.
First question he asked is
Just like this, how we just got it
exactly,
laid out.
exactly. Who controls the music industry? Well, what more am I supposed to say? You understand?
Truth.
I laid out the names,
Yeah.
the people, the organizations they belong to. I laid it out. Now, mind you, this is not coming from Professor Griffith. I wasn't hating nobody that day.
And was it in that statement? Was it just like was it white people, Jewish people, white supremacy? Like was it more just like you just kind of you weren't saying a hateful statement. You were just saying this is who controls it.
I laid out the names.
Right. Oh, so you specifically
you
said
yes.
people's names.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
People's names.
At that time, because what this was, 80, 89, 90?
Yeah, about 80, 89, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And you just said people's names. And
I laid it out, and I
Right.
showed them the books.
Right.
And I looked it up and showed it to him. This paragraph says this. These people control film industry, TV,
Right.
music industry.
And as we know right now,
these are the players.
when we talk about media, there's 6 major corporations that control
Exactly.
all of media.
Exactly.
This is beyond the music industry. And this is you were laying that construct down back then and naming names, calling them to the
Exactly.
table. But
Right.
even as we sit right here today, there's 6 major corporations that control everything that is delivered to you as we speak.
Exactly. So the 6 people can sit in this room and decide everything that we experience as far as entertainment. We watching the movies, reading the magazines. 6 people.
Right.
I laid that out. It wasn't a Jewish conversation.
Right.
It was about the music industry. The first 20 minutes of the conversation, we was laughing, joking, dapping each other up,
Right.
talking.
Right.
His girlfriend walked in. We were talking about David Mills now.
Right.
Who dropped dead on a movie set.
Right.
His girlfriend walks in, and his girlfriend's white and Jewish. Well, I'm from Roseville, Long Island. We don't have no experience with white people like that. So I'm like,
except for Howard Stern.
exactly right. Exactly. So when she came and sat down, the complexion of the conversation changed. It became more, and I'm like, you
Right.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A couple of times he even pressed the pause button on the cassette.
Yeah,
recorder.
that privilege starts speaking and
Right. So now
trying
he
to-
had to change his tone because
Right.
now the white Jewish girlfriend is sitting next to him.
Right.
And she's getting offended
Right.
by me calling out the Cohens and the Moskowitz and the blacks and the,
Right. Right.
and I'm like, okay, but still no hatred involved. I'm just laying the history
Yeah,
out.
we're just speaking facts.
When I finished the interview, he admitted and said to himself, you know something, this is the kind of stuff that can get you in a lot of trouble. And I'm like, now keep in mind now, I'm in my 20s.
Just like these conversations.
No, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
but fearless is. So, and you just saying what you saying. You speaking facts.
Exactly.
There's no reason to be scared of anything when you're speaking the truth.
So I left that interview with what you just said, with that.
Right.
And he faxed it to the Village Voice in New York.
Right.
Front page blew up. It went out, and it's like Professor Griff, anti-Semitic, blah, 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 whatever. And when I first told Chuck, he said, so what? You told the truth. The truth is the truth.
Right.
Everybody's gung-ho. Yeah, Griff dapping me
just
up.
what we saying right here.
Hoisting me up on their shoulders.
Yeah.
A week or 2 later, I'm the boogeyman. I'm the bad man. I'm the this, that, and the other.
Griff,
I'm
we got to
breaking
separate ourselves.
Exactly. And I didn't understand it from someone. Now, this is the painful part. From someone I grew up with, man, since I was 4 or 5 years old.
Right. Right.
How do you do that?
Right.
How do you sit in a room and have one of your friends tell you who you fought with, who you ate with, broke bread with?
Right.
You know, how do you do it? Then a group of brothers that I came up with, the S1Ws, who, you know, we did everything. We did everything together.
Fact.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the Public Enemy thing was Chuck and Flav, who was actually signed. Then it was me and Terminator, the Public Enemy Live thing.
Right.
Constitutes Public Enemy. I brought the S1Ws.
Right.
So when you talk about the money situation, it was Chuck and Flav, of course. Then me and Terminator. And then, check this out.
Right.
Out of my little money, I cut it up and paid them.
Wow. So it wasn't about the bread at all.
It wasn't about the bread at all because Chuck said, 2 years in, we out. We said, cool, let's shake the industry up and get out.
Yeah, y'all wasn't looking for. And that's the thing what people got to understand, too, especially back then. Hip-hop wasn't about money.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And the only place where you actually could make money because the hands that we
had it
speaking
on
of,
lock.
they had it on lock. It was slavery. Let's just keep it what it was. But live is where you could make money.
And that's right.
That's from the blues days all the way to today.
Exactly.
Where you seeing all these cats with all these diamonds and all that, that's because they getting 50,000 a night.
Exactly.
That's because, and back then it was 1,000 a night, maybe.
Thank you. And we were on a van driving ourselves.
Right, and it's 20 of y'all.
Right.
Splitting up $1,000 a night.
Exactly. So that's the real of it. And the whole idea of separating myself from these cats prematurely that we came up. Now let's keep the timeline in mind.
Yeah.
Into 86, 87, the album's out.
Right.
All right, so 89 would have been it. That's
Right.
it. We done.
Done. Because y'all was only set out to do Public Enemy for 2 years.
That's it.
Right.
So I was on time and I was on point.
You was right there where it was
I called
supposed
the
to
players out. I shook the
be.
industry up.
Divinity. The
But
universe.
but now I'm the bad man.
Yeah.
Now I'm hated now because I told the truth.
Right.
How do you walk around with that in your chest, Nick? How do you do that?
Yeah.
How do you walk around with now, but because I'm the bad guy in the group, I messed it up for everyone, so to speak. I'm like, whoa.
Right.
This is not what we discussed in my mom's basement, in Miss Boxley's basement in the
Right.
garage
Right.
at 510 South Franklin. This is not what we discussed. We was going to get in, shake it up, and we out. And so now I'm here where we didn't want to shake it up that bad. I'm like, come
Right.
on, bruh.
Right.
Oh, so
And it
hold
was
up.
just a simple conversation.
It was a simple conversation like we're having right now, bro.
And then, you know what? And because this is one of the reasons why I feel honored to speak with you, but I feel like it's so prevalent and so on time, is because what we're dealing with the Honorable Minister Farrakhan being silenced on Facebook and other platforms.
Right. Neutralized.
Neutralized.
Right.
Which COINTELPRO is still active to
Exactly.
this day. And COINTELPRO, for the young people that don't know, the counterintelligence program. And when you say counter, it's like because we have so much intelligence and information, they want to counter that by destroying us, by neutralizing us, by silencing us. So what we're speaking of today, because they attempted to silence Minister Farrakhan right now, which is COINTELPRO actions and activations, and they did the exact same thing to you. Why? And this is just a question that I have, and even coming from that aspect of if the true children of Israel, if we're speaking of the Jewish community, if we're speaking of the Abrahamic faiths that Islam comes from, that Judaism comes from, that Christianity comes from, all comes from Abraham. And we are all speaking of brotherhood and unity. Why is this division? Why is it such a problem? Why is there so much fear, specifically in the black community, in the Jewish community? And I'm kind of, this is a leading question, which I want to get to, but why is it such a problem to speak the truth?
I think it's a problem it became a problem for us because of the propaganda machine. But it's more of a problem for them.
Right.
Because they've taken our birthright.
Right. They don't want us to be them. Not
deeper than that. They don't want us to be us. They don't want you wrapping your head. They don't want.
Wow.
Nah, they don't want. Now because you recognize.
Right.
And now they identified you. Oh man, Nick knows.
Right.
Who he is, and then now the flip side of that, you know who they are. Right.
So let's dive into it. Who are they? When we speak of, because this is where it truly is, and when we talk about those the six corporations, when we go as deep as the Rothschild, centralized banking, those the 13 families, the bloodlines that control everything, even outside of America. When we talk about the people who, if we were truly the children of Israel, and we're defining who the Jewish people are, because I feel like if we actually can understand that construct, then we can see that there is no hate involved. When we talk about the lies, the deceit, how the fake dollar controls all of this, then maybe we can get to the reason why they wanted to silence you, why they wanted to silence Minister Farrakhan, and they want to throw that we are having hate speech when it's never hate speech, when it's not. You can't be anti-Semitic when we are the Semitic people, when we are the same people that who they want to be. That's our birthright.
That's our birthright.
So if that's truly our birthright, there's no hate involved.
It's not.
How did this message get so misconstrued?
When we came back to claim it.
Right.
When we woke up and we came back to claim. If you steal my bicycle when we were 6 years old, and you riding around the hood with my bike, and now I'm 12, and I understand.
I want my bike back.
I want my bike back, man. Now you gonna kick up dust.
Right. Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
And I'm brolic enough to get my bike back.
I know some techniques now. I want my bike back.
Right.
I'm coming to get my bike. You gonna kick up dust. You might even have enough prowess and cockiness and wherewithal, because you've been riding my bike around. You made connections now.
Right.
And convince other people that that's your bike.
Now you got a couple of bikes. You got a whole gang. You got a bike gang, and I'm over here walking.
Walking, right or wrong. So now when I go get my bike back, yeah, you done painted the bike. You done put some new wheels on it. It really don't even look like my bike. It don't look like my bike no more. Right. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So now I'm waking up, and I'm like, bro, I need my bike back.
Right.
For real.
Right.
How do you know that's your bike? Simply because there's documents here. There's
paperwork
here. There's receipts here. You understand what I'm saying? They're showing and proving that that's my bike, and I'm here to claim it, man.
Right.
You have to give it back. So when you start hearing songs like Michael Jackson, "Hike Me, Kite Me," and blah 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 blah,
right.
Nah, you can't say that.
You can't say that.
When you hear
hate speech.
Puffy talking about getting paid or getting like the Hebrew.
Right.
You
And they want to mute the Hebrew.
They want to mute that.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Even though we are the true Hebrews.
Exactly. So we can't even tell the truth now.
Right.
Not on record, not on television shows, not on YouTube.
Right. And what is and again, because and you know, I talk to my brother Risa Islam about this all the time, about certain things to where it's just the lack of understanding.
That's what it is.
Because we're not saying anything hateful, and that's the thing when they want to put that on the minister Farrakhan was saying, when even the term white devils or just devils in general.
Right.
But when he was really speaking about the people who devalue our communities and themselves, and that's really where the word devil comes from, and how he's speaking it. But they want to take the sound bites and say this is anti-Semitic, and so how does that occur, and why does that occur? Is that great? Is that spiritual warfare, or is that just truly just us just silencing each other?
That's the psychological, covert, meaning hidden war on the higher infinite power healing our people.
Say that again. Hip hop is
higher infinite power healing our
people.
The higher infinite power healing our people.
It's
well,
hip-hop.
if it's higher, then it's going to vibrate
on that
at
frequency.
The higher chakra.
Yeah.
And we're going to connect. Sometimes, you know, you see your homeboy, you up in the club, the music loud, y'all can't talk. You like, you know.
Yeah. Or when it's about to go down, the energy, you know.
Exactly.
All right.
Right. So if it's infinite and it's the power that's in us because of who we are as a people, Elijah Muhammad said we're direct descendants from God himself. When that hit me, I'm like, I got relatives, but I got the big relative. You understand what I'm saying?
Facts.
I'm a descendant maybe from this tribe, that tribe, and that tribe because I look a little Ethiopian or Eritrean or Somalian. But I'm saying I'm connected to the source.
Right.
But because I'm connected to the source, we have a higher infinite power.
Right.
But we can take this power now to heal our people.
Wow.
You understand what I'm saying? And then delivering it that way, like the COINTELPRO, like those black organizations where they saw the Messiah coming up in the ranks, they says, no, we have to stop that.
J. Edgar Hoover said the most dangerous thing in America is the Negro, and when he bringing us together. So I want to touch on something too, where we have this problem within our community, and then obviously even beyond the term God and defining ourselves as gods. Why is that such a problem, and why is that so taboo in our community? Because I know you do this as well. You speak about it in your books.
Right.
And even going back to the 5 percenters, the gods and the earths back then, why is that such a problem? Even all the way to brothers like Kanye, where, you know, even his messaging can get misconstrued at times, but he was even professing, I'm a God, and our egos get to that point like, you ain't no God, I ain't no God. But ultimately, how do you define yourself as a God, and then why is that a problem?
I think the whole idea of having to define myself as a God is something that, you know, I don't necessarily want to wear on a T-shirt or a bumper sticker. I'd rather just be what the Creator created me to be. Now, let me ask just a couple of things so we can kind of contextualize this thing. You have an assignment, right?
Yep.
A life assignment.
Absolutely.
The Creator deposited in you everything that you need to be you, right?
Right.
You ever get to that point where you're not feeling kind of like you?
Right.
So now you got to be introduced back to who? You. All right? And you got to be reminded of your assignment on this planet.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So if the Creator, God, deposited aspects of the Creator inside of you.
Right.
The scripture says you're all gods, but you're a child of the Most High God. Sooner or later, you're going to grow up.
Right.
And be gods.
Yeah.
With a small G.
Yeah.
We ain't claiming the big G, just the small G.
Yeah, we're not saying we're the creator.
Exactly.
Right.
Everything divine in nature is within inside of you.
Right.
This is why when we talk about the law of correspondence, as above, so below, as within, so without, we can look at what we adorn the universe with, and it's right here.
It's all in us.
It's all in us. That's why we can duplicate.
The cosmos is inside us.
Exactly. And only thing we're saying is we're gods having a human experience called Griff and Nick.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
Now, what your assignment is,
right.
Some people refer to that as different things. That's your life path.
Right.
That's what you've been assigned to do. But the thing is, have you accepted your assignment?
Right.
When you find people dealing with this whole psychology of self-hate, rejecting themselves and their divinity and who they are, see, when we hook up, there's certain things that you and I don't even really have to discuss because the divinity in me salutes the divinity in you, and we good.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying?
Facts.
And see, that's divine.
Right.
But you see, we can go back and study Greeks, Romans, European history, and they've called even some of the days of the weekend the months.
Right.
They call those people gods.
Right.
You understand? But we don't have no problem with that.
Right.
But the people that gave birth to civilization, you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Yet we can't consider ourselves gods. I think there's a misnomer there, man, and it's like it's almost like
they don't want us to know the truth.
Back to that again. They don't want us to know who we are.
But even I want to go back to our community because forget they for a second.
Okay.
Why can't we accept that we are
Because
gods?
we've been brought down to the point where we look at one another as just mere niggas.
Right.
Plain and serious. But Wesley Muhammad said it best. The nigga got to die. I'm just going to say it straight. The nigga got to die. Wesley Muhammad put it out.
Yeah.
Because if the nigga die, and then now we can have this rebirth of the God.
Now let me play devil's advocate for a second.
And please do. But we have to define what devil is. It's the adversary of God.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and there's attributes to the devil, but go ahead.
Yeah, so let me go to the opposing
with the little
side.
D, with the little D.
With the little D.
All right, go ahead.
So is that almost the same concept as eugenics, or even when we tap into W.E.B. Du Bois's aspect, because he was someone that was saying the black man has to rise above, or I don't know if it's the same term as like we got the nigga got to die, but is it that concept of saying, yo, I want a purer black man, or the black man has to understand that he is a god, and the nigga has to die.
Well,
Isn't that same concept?
Kind of like the same thing, but let's clean it up just a little so the vast majority of our people can understand it. The Christians say what? You have to be born again.
Right.
So what happened the first time? Because God don't make mistakes. And all of them people running around in the Bible that never existed, never had Bibles. I don't think people
say that
again.
Say that again. Because really what the Bible truly is just God's experience or man's interpretation of his experience with his God. And stories and allegories.
And those allegories and stories and things were stolen from who we are as a people.
As a people.
Right. That's our history book,
right.
so to speak.
Right.
Someone else kidnapped us, knocked us upside the head, put us to sleep, stole our birthright, and claiming that that's them.
Right. So the story of which you know as Moses is really Mesis and an Egyptian tale. The story of Noah is really the poem of the tale of Gilgamesh and all of these things.
Right.
These all come from the motherland. But going back to what you were saying in that sense of who we are and who we define.
So W.E.B. Du Bois came forth and said, the black man and woman in America is dealing with this double and dual consciousness.
Yes.
In a modern context, that's code switching. But right now, what is this dual consciousness that we're dealing with? Causing cognitive dissonance inside the spirit of the black man and woman. How do we have to wrestle with being Nick during the day and all the jobs and the opportunities that you have and the resources that you connected to, but then you got to go be dad now.
Right.
You got to go deal with Mariah. You
right.
Yeah. Okay? Because they don't know nothing about that. Okay, that's my daddy, but cool, but now.
Facts.
So the dual consciousness. What happens now when you operate in a world that's diametrically opposed to who and what you are as far as your existence is concerned? How do you operate in a world like that and then be you?
Right.
How do I be Professor Griff and still operate in the music in music industry by telling the truth about the music industry? That's kind of difficult, man. Yeah. I can't go home and take off and put on Professor Griff to go on stage. No, bro, what you see is what you get, man.
Right, facts.
I'm not Professor Griff on stage and then I go take it off or put on a costume.
But there's still a dichotomy or there's still a duality in who you have to be.
That was the dual consciousness the double consciousness that W.E.B. Du Bois was talking about.
And that even goes back to maybe what was going on within Public Enemy.
Exactly.
You was always speaking your truth, but there's still, we got to know how to play. This is a game, and you're in it. So at some point, there's a line that's gonna be drawn on that playground.
But you talking about the road manager for the group. I
Right.
dealt with these people firsthand. The Cohens and the Moskowitz and the
Professionally.
And they respected that. That's why nobody crossed us like that. We got respect from the industry from top to bottom.
Right.
From the average kid in the projects who we used to give the tickets to.
Right.
To the executive people, man. I'm talking about booking agencies and promoters and
right. And you wasn't acting like a nigga.
I was just being myself and standing up and being a real black man, and they respected that.
Right. And with the respect, there was also some fear because they wanted you to still. There was a line that you weren't supposed to cross. Right. Correct.
Man, not only that, but they wanted to put the fear thing back on the table to quote unquote let me know there's a line that you didn't cross. I never disrespected any Jewish people.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Why? There's no need to.
There's no need to. I just told the truth and dealt with them on a professional level.
So ultimately, are we saying that there's a certain group of people that maybe they're scared of the truth?
I think there's Jewish people, but I just think there's a group of Jewish people inside of that. You can call them Zionists, you can call them whatever.
So let's dig into that for a second, because that's where and even sometimes I find myself wanting to debate this idea, and it gets real wishy-washy and unclear for me when we give so much power to the theys.
Right.
When we talk, and then the theys then turn into the Illuminati, the Zionists, the Rothschilds, the
Freemasons,
Bilderberg
right.
group, the Freemasons.
Right.
And as a community, I feel, and I've done this myself, I want to blame others for the position that I'm currently in.
Right.
And that often becomes when you say the privileged white girlfriend comes into the room and or the apologists or these people come in and say, why aren't you guys over slavery already? Or why are you always complaining? And what you do for yourself? Or pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. And my people were also oppressed. We hear all of this stuff all the time,
right.
which a lot of times I really can't debate what they're saying, because some of what they're saying, there's some truth in it, because we're often blaming and saying the theys. But I would love to dive in real quick, just for the people that are listening and watching, even specifically the Illuminati.
Right.
When we say, like, to me, I say fuck the Illuminati. I say it with heart, so much so, like, man, I don't give a fuck about the Illuminati, because one, that's Roman Catholicism, which I don't subscribe to.
Right.
I don't care about this illuminated group of scientists that they thought they really they had some information and they were illuminated. I feel like, and I've heard you say this, and I think I wrote down your quoted that we are the illuminated
ones. Right.
So when this whole Illuminati that we hear about, I say fuck them. And I don't care about, because that's make believe when they want to say Jay-Z's an Illuminati, and this boogeyman concept, and all the people want to say I was in the Illuminati. I ain't no fucking Illuminati. I was like, black people don't even know how to spell Illuminati. Like, I done been to Jay-Z's house. Ain't no rituals going on over there. You know, like, so when I say that, why, as our community, why when we get in the conscious community, why when we get on YouTube, we see all this shit of, oh, they done sold they soul to the devil, or, oh, they throwing up signs. Like, I don't, fuck that shit. Like, but I do subscribe to numerology. I do understand symbolism. I do understand that there's spiritual warfare going on. But I, as someone who came from the projects, somebody who still got cousins dying in shootings, who still be in these prison systems weekly, I'm not gonna put a they on the or say that someone else when I know I'm God, when I know my power. I don't give a fuck about what they got or their story when I know they want what I got. Exactly. So why is it that we tend to give them so much power? And when did that come? And like, it has to be before slavery. It has to be before colonization, because even I've been to the motherland. They're divided. Now, of course, colonization and the Europeans came in and kind of set some of that up. Right. But in tribalism, there had to be a hierarchy. There had to be a king and a monarch. And if I want to say I come from a king, if I want to say I am a god, I have to really embrace that and can't say someone else overpowers me.
Right. Well, I think we need to understand the sacred sciences that you alluded to, that we had, that you know that we have.
Right.
There are some people that came in, sat at the feet of our ancestors and our people, learned and took that sacred knowledge.
Thutmose and all.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and then, second time, coming back to the continent, plan to destroy and take everything.
Facts. We know the Europeans came in and raped and pillaged.
Exactly.
We know that.
Thus, seeing how we operate and how we move and the deeper sciences that we know. For example, the Dogon. The name of my company is Serious Minds.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But when I talk about this, I'm talking about the Star Series.
Right.
How did the Dogon know that was out there? Unless we mapped that out. Unless we came from that place and brought that.
It's beautifully designed.
Okay, exactly. So they came and figured these things out among us, and they crafted this society. And listen, let's just get something really, really straight. We are the first Freemasons.
Yes.
We are the illuminated ones.
Yes.
We are the first ones to establish secret societies.
Yes.
That's us as a people. They took all of that from us and set that up to rule what we call this present system that we live in right now.
Right.
They consider themselves illuminated ones among them.
Of them.
Because they put us to sleep.
Right.
So now
how did they do that, though? If we were so powerful, how did
this
they
is a question
do that?
I hear a lot, man. They put us to sleep by taking the very thing away from us that we depended on the most. If I said to you, what is the most important thing that keeps your life, that wakes you up in the morning and keeps you moving and motivated during the course of the day? Whatever that thing is, if I took that from you, would you be able to exist?
Nah, you
right?
took my essence away.
I took your essence away, and then what if I fed you the wrong food?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right,
so now you're not getting the nutrients.
Right.
The essence of you was taken away from you. All right. And then I moved you from one location to the other and mixed you up with some people that you can't even really communicate with.
Right.
And I did this over a period of time in different places on the continent because we haven't talked about brothers and sisters in Brazil yet.
Right.
In the
That's
Black
where-
African
that's
diaspora.
where the most Africans went to.
Exactly.
To South America.
But the job that they did on us here, they actually put us sound asleep. When's the
Right.
last time you ever got that sound sleep?
that deep sleep.
You not only need an alarm clock to wake you up, but somebody to come and shake you.
Shake you for a minute.
And then even when you get up, you're kind of groggy.
Yeah, right.
So you have to be brought back. And then when you woke, as they say now, the essence that they stole from you has to be put back in you. Once that started happening, that's when we said earlier, they waking up, man. We cannot allow that to happen.
And we see that it actually.
But guess who? I don't mean to cut you off, but
Yeah.
guess who is behind the people that's saying that? They call themselves the Illuminati. We didn't call them that. The
Really?
holders of the light.
Really?
The light
still
bearers.
to this day?
Still to this day, they consider themselves the light bearers. But now
And now-
they
and
hide it
Right.
in different organizations and fraternities and sororities and groups and secret societies.
Because I feel like there's, like, even Trump and this government in America, and we talk about, like, I consider those people the elite. Those are those top 3% or even that top 1%. But I'm not even sure if those are the people, this government, this Americanized government, are those same people that we're speaking of.
No,
And
they're not-
And
they're
just
not.
for the clarity, that's what
No.
that's what I want to put out
No,
there.
they flunkies.
Yeah,
they
those are
pawns
the
on the
ones-
chess game.
So
Yeah.
and like, can we give these people another name? Because even when I feel like we talk about the Illuminati and like again, like
Okay, let's demystify it then.
yeah, like let's really break it down, because I feel like that's where we get it becomes the boogeyman when we talk about, and even
Right.
like when we talk about these meetings, like the Bilderberg Group, which was
Okay.
a meeting that goes on in Europe once a year with the most powerful people in the world, the
Right.
most powerful people in media,
Mhm.
presidents,
Yep.
kings,
Yep.
queens. Queen Elizabeth be there. These are the richest people. These are the elite. They actually meet on world affairs, and where the Bilderberg Group they housed it and were like,
Mhm.
"Ooh, we want to bring powerful people together to show how we can make the world a better place and have this meeting." That's what they say.
That's what they say.
But ultimately, they're saying, what messaging
Domination and world control.
are we putting out there? And then when we go and we speak about the New World Order,
Mhm.
I have this question for you. Why is the New World Order a one world government, domination world control? Why is that so dangerous? Why is that a bad thing? Why isn't that a good thing? Why can't we subscribe to say, oh, we just want everyone to come together. We want everyone to we want the nations to unite. We want a united nation. Why is that dangerous?
I had the pleasure of having some brief conversations the other night in Brooklyn, New York, at the Barclays Center, behind stage with Erykah Badu. She did a video, window seat.
Right.
Then she did a couple other videos where she literally was walking through and disrobing.
Right.
And,
Where JFK was
assassinated. Right. And gunshots rang out and she bled blue blood. See where I'm going with this?
See where
So
you
now-
go. The blue blood.
The blue bloods. So regardless of what we called them,
Yeah.
you understand what I'm saying?
And let's see if we're going to go to blue blood, going back to understanding a blue blood is a European person because they don't have pigment in their skin that you can see their blue veins.
Exactly. And blood is blue until oxygen, the air hit it, and it turns red.
Right.
Democrat Republican Party.
Red
you see,
and
it's
blue.
not
Bloods and Crips.
exactly. They set that kind of thing,
It's deep.
Hegelian dialectic principle.
Yeah.
The opposing forces controlled by the same people.
Right. So then let's go to what it really is then. When we talk about the power of melanated people, when we talk about who we really are as guys and
Right.
understanding that our melanin is so powerful and it connects us in a way that the reason why they fear black, the reason why they fear is because the lack that they have of it. So then when you see what Dr. Francis C. Welsing talked about is that fear and that
Just genetic
that
annihilation.
deficiency of when you have a person that has the lack of pigment, the lack of melanin, that they know that they will be annihilated. So therefore, however they got the power, they have the lack of compassion. That melanin comes with compassion. Melanin comes with soul, that we call it soul. We soul brothers and sisters. That's the melanin that connects us. So the people that don't have it are a little, and I'm gonna say this carefully, are a little less, and where the term actually comes from, because I'm bringing it all the way back around to Minister Farrakhan, to where they may not have the compassion or the when they were sent to the mountains of Caucasus, when they didn't have the power of the sun, that the sun then started to deteriorate them. So then they're acting out of fear. They're acting out of low self-esteem. They're acting out of a deficiency. So therefore, the only way that they can act is evil. The only way they have to rob, steal, rape, kill, and
fight or flight,
in order to survive.
Exactly.
So then these people who didn't have what we had, and when I say we, I speak of the melanated people.
Right.
They had to be savages. They had to be barbaric. Because they're in these Nordic mountains. They're in these rough torrential environments. So they're acting as animals.
Right.
So they're the ones that are actually closer to animals. They're the ones that are actually the true savages. And then they built up such this I don't want to say warrior, but they built up such this conquering barbaric mentality that they're coming out of Europe. They then said, in order for us to survive, we have to take what's not ours. And then they went into the land that actually where we are originated. And instead of trying to make friends, they said, we want what you got. Because there's this mentality of whether it's the Caesars or even that we have to conquer.
Right.
So I say all that to say the context. And when we speak of whether it's Jewish people, white people, Europeans, the Illuminati, they were doing that as survival tactics to stay on this planet.
Right, because
we never had to do that.
Right, because they've learned when they circumnavigated the globe and they ran into these islands and these places, and we were already there to greet them.
Right, with open arms.
Teaching them, but they
were deficient.
They were deficient, so they wanted to get what they thought we had, and we did have it. So the rape took place of the woman. The theft took place of the natural resources.
And then that's when their disease,
exactly.
That's where their mentality, because I'm trying to get to that place of how they were able to get control over the gods. How were they able to get control over their original
once they
people?
learned that, though, and now they raped and impregnated, left and came back, and they saw the child lighter, they said, wow, that's when they learned genetics. Genetic annihilation. So now you have to set up a system of white supremacy to control that.
Right.
So now we have 13 families here, Illuminati that's manipulating and controlling. Subgroups. Now we got to set up organizations.
Coming out of Europe.
You understand what I'm saying? And for that same system, now you're talking about survival, what you just laid out. Now it's fight or flight. Now we have to set up these systems in order to survive.
Right.
But listen, not just survive to get some damn some hamburger buns and some cheese. I'm talking about on a genetic level.
On the genetic, because they will, and that's even from the white nationalists to the white supremacy mentalities to Donald Trump himself wanting to build walls.
Right.
They're trying to keep what they consider purity.
Exactly, on a subconscious
trying to
level.
stay alive.
Because sometimes they don't know why they acting out.
It's just been proven. National Geographic just put it out by 2050. Every person will be a person of color.
In a minute.
They saying that's as soon as 2050.
So let me ask you something. So what is the subconsciousness saying? What's the fear? The subconscious said, I got to survive.
Right.
What do I have to do?
And that's what it's been from the beginning with the
how do you do that now?
people.
How do you do that and show love? I got to take natural resources because I may not be here in a minute. Right. I got to bomb these people back to the Stone Age because I'm not going to be here in a minute because I got to be able to dominate.
War was created.
Exactly, and control and dominate people. I have to survive on this planet.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
And as you call it, this is a Griff quote right here. Life is living in fear of extinction.
Right. So, and that's what operating on a subconscious level. So they fear. So Dr. Francis Cress Welsing says when you show up, they view a grown, 6 foot tall, 230-pound black man the same as they do a 4-year-old.
Yep.
Because in us is the genetic material to annihilate them.
Ooh, and it's their fear of God.
It's their fear.
It's their fear of God.
Exactly.
And then for everybody, because I'm bringing it back in context again, because just so you know, we keep referencing, the great Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. Get that book, The ISIS Papers. If you haven't, it's essential. And in Griff's book first, get the Warrior's Tapestry. He says that book, as well as so many others, that everything that we're talking about, like it has been kept secrets, but it's not a secret. These books are out there for you to actually read upon, and they're all facts. Nothing. That's where I just wanted to get to. I didn't want to keep creating this boogeyman of they. Or the
you have
Illuminati.
to demystify who these people are.
We got to get to when we talk about who the original man is.
Right.
Is the original melanated man coming from the place that we call Africa, and which I always find this so amazing and compelling that Africa was named Africa by the Europeans, and Europe was named Europe by the Africans.
Ain't that something? I had a conversation with one of the lost boys from the Sudan. And I asked him, "Do you consider yourself African?" He's like, "No."
Yeah.
They're tribal.
Yeah.
You take pride in your tribe.
And I just came back from Uganda, and it's so when you look at it, they don't say, "Hey, I'm African."
Exactly. They don't. Right.
No, I'm from Uganda, or I'm from my family. They don't. We call it Africa, like or African American.
Right. Now hold on 1 second. Now let's look at America.
Right.
We say, well, "Where you from?" I'm from Detroit, man.
Yeah.
We don't say we're Americans.
Yeah.
See, it's the same dynamic.
And especially when I'm from Long Island. I'm from this street. I'm from this exit. I'm from Brooklyn.
Exactly, man.
You say your whole address.
I'm from this block.
Yeah, and then on the West Coast,
Same thing with the brothers in Africa.
Southeast San Diego, over there, up through the, from such and such projects.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Same thing with the brothers in Africa. They don't identify with the whole idea that the place was called Africa.
Yeah, they tell you they tribe.
It was more tribal, man. And right now, we need to find our tribe.
That's all it is, the lost tribes.
Exactly.
And it goes back, and it goes all the way back to when you were not being anti-Semitic, because that's impossible. You were just speaking the truth and talking about your community, your tribe, and how others have came and taken from your tribe. So, which I would love to jump and just divert just originally hip hop, and I love how you define hip hop, the higher infinite power healing our people.
Right.
And you where the state of hip hop is today. And you said something so powerful, man. And I want the people to hear this when you said they killed all the bigs and birthed all the littles.
Ooh, yeah.
And if you think about when you say from Big L, Biggie Smalls,
right.
You know what I mean? Even the idea of then we birthed. No offense to none of these brothers, but the Lil Xans, the Little Waynes, who is my brother.
The little and the young ones.
The young, but just that mentality of we used to want to call ourselves Big this, and now you want to be Lil Pump, Lil this.
Yeah.
Where did that come from? Is that spiritual warfare?
Ooh, that's psychic and spiritual warfare, man. That's that psychological war. See.
And then I love the way you break this. These are textbooks, people. Get this from Griff. Like, he got the pictures on every page, and he breaks all the symbolism down, and that's what I'm saying. That this what we just said is all in here of breaking.
So the whole idea of the warfare that they're waging against us is on a psychological level. So psychology is not the study of the mind. Psyche in ancient Kemet is the soul.
The soul.
So they waging a hidden covert war on the souls of black folks.
Wow. Which goes back is where our melanin is.
And the whole idea, the whole idea of killing off the bigs and producing the littles is part of it.
Right.
What better way to do that? Yeah. Now you got a whole generation of MCs, rappers coming up. Little this one, young that one.
Right.
As though you will never grow up and grow old and become a man.
You're going to be little forever.
You're going to be little for the rest of your life. So you come on now on television shows sucking a pacifier in the baby bottle. You understand what I'm saying? And we have to understand that
in a
particular.
skirt or a dress.
And they
right?
forgot that sister. Exactly. They
Right.
forgot that Sister Soldier said, "We are at war. We're at war for the hearts and minds of our people, man. We have to understand that, man."
Right. And one thing I want to talk to again, I'm gonna play the advocate of the opposing advocate, as we call it, because I dealt with this personally on a personal level, and I would love to have some discourse with you about the emasculation of the black man,
Right.
specifically in the media. And the only reason why I feel like this is a good place to go, because from the big to the little conversation, because of now is the male to the female. Now we got everything now, which is ridiculous. To we got Snapchat filters turning our brothers into good. I done seen some of the most gangster people I know put this Snapchat filter on to see what they would look like as a woman, to where like all the way to like, man, if there was a wig and some makeup sitting right there, take the digital aspect out of it.
Right.
So if there was a wig and some makeup right there, yo, Griff, put this on, man, so I see what you look like.
Exactly.
Would you do that then? But will do that with our phones and our screens, and we'll send it and we'll post it for the likes.
Forever.
So say that though. In media, and I salute my brother Dave Chappelle and so many other. We've all heard the famous story where he said Hollywood tried, there was a dress hanging in his and
his
Martin
trailer,
tried to put him on, and some of the brothers that I look up to and will forever look up to, from Eddie Murphy to Martin Lawrence to all of these people, have to in entertainment put on the dress, and a lot of people say they're selling their soul, and I'll go all the way back to my own personal story as a kid growing up on Nickelodeon. And not seeing any harm in it at the time in the 90s. Did a skit where I dressed up as a girl. I mean, we in the inconvenience store and we ghetto girls. And like they wouldn't, the skit on Nickelodeon, they wouldn't even allow something like that to air today. Because we ghetto with the nails. And, we really, all I'm doing is imitating Martin Lawrence and Jamie Foxx, what they did with Shanae and Wanda, and all they were doing imitating Flip Wilson, what he did with Geraldine, and what our strong brother Richard Pryor was doing in This Way Is Up, and classic movies and things that we seen who we consider the greats do coming before us, but we're not seeing that psychological warfare of they want to, which Dr. Francis talks about, is when we see these images of, because there's a lack of fathers already, there's a lack of male figures, and we understand the black woman is the ultimate creator, but when we are emasculated and we don't know how to be men, and we think it's a joke and we think it's funny, and I see it like now, I don't regret anything in my life, but when I see the 18-year-old version of me prancing around for the joke in a dress, in a wig, I'm like, damn. Like, was that me just being funny, or me thinking, this is funny? Where, I'm as heterosexual as it gets, but the messaging that I was putting out there, and then not that there's any, as to each his own, what you do in your bedroom in the dark at night, that's your business. But to me, as I know, was I used as a pawn, as a young boy to make people, I'm thinking I'm making people laugh, but was there a psychological warfare?
All right, well, let me ask you something. Did the laughter die down? Did you grow up?
I definitely grew up.
Now, what would this Nick Cannon say to that one? Bro, look at me, though, bro. I want you to...
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying,
so
because...
what would this Nick Cannon say to that one now?
The information that I just said, I would give that, but I would still say, make your own choice.
Right, you know the price that you're going to pay for that, though, now. Because you woke up.
Right.
And now you got to talk and speak to that young brother that put on the dress.
Put on
now.
the dress.
So when I laid it out, though,
but I wouldn't judge that one. I wouldn't tell.
Right. We don't have to judge.
I would give them the information.
This is life lessons.
I would give them the ISIS papers.
Right.
I didn't know. I didn't read the ISIS papers when I was 18. I didn't understand that there was a greater mission to destroy us.
Right.
I thought I was just there to make them laugh. But even if for someone who was awakened like a Richard Pryor, still would say, there's nothing off limits when it comes to entertainment. Like you said, you got to get their attention first. And whether it's putting on a dress, whether it's calling yourself little this, whether it's making a song about shaking that ass, like to when we talk about brothers like Nipsey and his gang bang affiliation and
Right,
and,
okay.
and its terminology that may not be helpful on the surface, but when you see the brother's beautiful spirit, when
Right,
you know my
right.
ultimate mission,
Right.
when you know that ultimately these are brothers that trying to help the community, but we got to get their attention first.
Right. I got a brother, a friend of mine, Black Dot. He wrote a book called Hip Hop Decoded.
Okay.
He said in the book that they take the lowest essence of our culture and give it maximum exposure. You understand?
Say
Black Dot said they take the lowest essence of our culture and give it maximum exposure.
So that's why we glorify our strip clubs. That's why
Exactly.
we glorify our gang
And it's
banging.
over the top for many reasons. And you mentioned one, for the laugh.
Right.
Now it's for the bag.
Right.
Now it could be for some other reasons.
Right.
I want to buy my mama a house, and we give it all the excuses and the reasons. At the same time, the ultimate agenda is taking place. We're falling right into it.
Right.
The
But
ultimate
it's
plan.
always been that, because that's the reason. Like, I wanted you to say that again, because I want to go all the way back to Step and Fetch It.
Mhm.
I want to go all the way back to
But if you went back there, some of them brothers didn't have a choice, so to speak,
right.
because
But
of
do
the
we
degree of
still-
poverty.
But do we still have the choice now? Does NBA YoungBoy, does Kodak Black, they
Yeah.
don't have a choice, but because they're living their truth. All they saying is, this is all I know. So
on all of my material, I put my phone number out there and I put it out freely. They have a choice, bro, because they could easily call me and say, because now that I got.
But before they don't know Professor Griff. They all they know is the drug dealer and they community.
Okay.
Because you, again, as much as we want to say we have access to all of this, the average 14, 15-year-old dude that grow up in Florida,
Right,
that grow up in
right,
Louisiana, all they know is the niggas around them.
Exactly.
They don't know how. Man, I don't know how to work them computers. You know how many times
Right.
I heard
Yeah,
that?
I know,
Man,
bro.
I don't know that shit. Hey, dog, this all I know. I know I got my 40 on my hip. I know I'm gonna slang these packs. And I
Right.
know I'm gonna fuck some bitches later on.
Yeah, that's the mentality.
That's
exactly.
until you crack one of these open, until you can get the Warriors tapestry.
That's why I put the book together the way I put it together, to speak to that dude.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And
But we gotta speak their language. That's why I feel like Nipsey
Exactly.
Hussle was so important for us, because everybody, it's the
Yes.
Nipsey bandwagon now. But when you can see, and that's why Tupac, and that's why even PE was so important, because we're like, oh, them is cats that grew up just like me.
Right.
They embracing the thug life.
Mhm.
They embracing being a 60s Crip. They
Right.
embracing being neighborhood Nip. Like, even, and I come from the other aspect of it. I came in and like, I don't want people to I don't want to glorify where I came from, where I came from. When you first heard Nick Cannon, like, that's the kid from Nickelodeon.
The little
That's
guy,
kid,
yeah,
that's the kid
that's-
from America's Got Talent. That's
Yeah.
always smiling.
Yeah.
You don't know that I come from what I
Right.
come from, because I never wanted to glorify, because there's entry points from every
Exactly,
angle.
exactly.
So I have no problem being able to sit there and be like, oh, he's the safe one, because I still know my truth. I still know my purpose.
Right.
So in saying that, I can't, just the way I don't expect people to judge me from what they may think of me.
Mm-hmm.
When I sit down and have a conversation with Kodak Black, that's not a dumb brother. Kodak Black is
Right.
intelligent. What NBA YoungBoy is intelligent. Now, they may be making some choices we may not agree with.
Right.
and
At
I
the age
can't-
that they are.
Right. Like I said, at 18, I was on TV dressed in a dress.
Right,
You
right.
know what I mean?
Mhm.
And you know why? Because 2 years before that, I was trying to be a gangbanger in the hood. And 2 years before that, I grew up in projects. And you know what I mean? So I'm like,
He said this gangbanging shit ain't working out.
yeah, it ain't working out. Let me square up. You know what I mean? And the people, you know what
No,
I mean?
I hear you.
And so to say that, I see every aspect of it. So I think as what we do, we judge each other instead of informing each other.
Right. Well, we judge one another by the categories that they fit us in.
Right.
If we was to pick our own categories,
Right.
you and I greeted one another as gods.
Right.
How many times they gonna let that go out on the air? How many times they gonna put that in a movie?
can't
How
let
many
them-
times they gonna put that in
Right.
the educational department?
Right.
And how many times they gonna rewrite the dictionary and don't write us in as black means despicable, disgusting, evil?
Yeah.
They're gonna rewrite the dictionary? No.
Black means God. That's what we need to
Exactly.
put out there.
That needs to be the T-shirt, though.
Yeah.
That needs to be
that's
the
coming.
slogan.
The definition of black is God.
Exactly.
Black means God.
Exactly. So but you see, even if you ask them, that's what they would say.
Right.
Because they worship us in private, in secret.
Mm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm.
So
Okay.
and then with the beautiful work that Renoko Rashidi and Ashwa Kwesi and other people are doing, and What's the brother's name? Tariq Nasheed with Hidden Colors.
Right. Yeah, love
In
all of
every
that
place you go, Eugene Adams with Africans in Asia. When you
Right.
start unearthing who these people are, the deeper they dig, the blacker it gets.
Okay.
That's the T-shirt, bro.
The deeper they dig,
The
the
deeper
blacker
it digs, the blacker it gets, bro.
Okay, so let me go here with you then, and I'm gonna play for the other side just for a second.
Mhm.
When we get to the origin of when we say as deep as we go, and ultimately, if it's all about becoming one and understanding who the original man was, and if we all come from the same thing, and the purpose here, our assignment is to love and to have understanding,
Right.
and knowledge supreme. Wisdom and all this understanding ultimately is rooted in love in the core. And if that's our message to spread through the cosmos, why all of this division? Why all this compartmentalization and categorizing each other? If we're the original, if we're where it started, if they want what we have, and ultimately what we have to give is love, why does it matter if one person is Jewish? Why does it matter if one person is Christian? Why does it matter if this person has less melanin in their skin than the other person?
I think the thing that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said that makes them devils is the fact that they've been taught a doctrine, a teaching, coupled with the fact that you and I said they had to survive, so they did the things that they became and who they are. There was a reason why they shot the noses off Abu Ahal, the Sphinx.
Right.
Different people called it different things.
They put it in the back of the museum.
Exactly. There's a reason why they destroyed the woman when they saw the black man and woman side by side in Egypt. There was a reason why they took certain information, stole it, copied it, put their names on it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
They never wanted that particular information.
Their image of God.
Exactly, to get out. If that image of God got out,
Right.
how would they survive genetically on a planet being the inferior?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
You cannot do what they've done on the planet in such a short period of time, being the inferior.
But why does it all matter? If we're talking about the source, if we're getting to the source of it all, of the original man and the original purpose is to spread love, is to awaken and enlighten everyone. Why does it matter?
There was love in my family. My dad was there, my mom was there, my brother was there, my sister was there. Instinctively, we all knew our roles. I wasn't trying to be my dad.
Right.
My dad's my dad.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
In the human family, who's not comfortable with being themselves?
Right.
We could take a look at it through that lens.
Okay.
Let's
I see where you
unpackage
go.
that now.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I'm comfortable with being myself, then I don't have to say you're evil, you're wicked. I don't have to write that in my books. I don't have to destroy your history.
I don't have to try to borrow and get something
Right.
or steal yours because I'm comfortable with mine.
Exactly. I don't have to say because I'm lighter and whiter, I'm better. I don't have to do all these things. But because I don't feel comfortable in my position,
The idea of supremacy.
the idea of having to survive, I got to come up with the plan.
Okay.
You follow what I'm saying?
Right.
See, now
So if I'm not comfortable within the grand design, if I don't know my position in the grand design, then
Exactly.
right.
And the grand design included them.
It did.
It included everyone in love.
Right.
You just got to play your part, man.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
So-
I wasn't trying to be my sister. I
Right.
didn't want to put on the dress and the purse.
So ultimately,
the pocketbook. I
yeah,
didn't. I
right.
wasn't trying to be mom.
Right. So the answer to the question is we're not the ones that are creating the borders and the categories
we're
and the
not.
classifications.
No, we're not.
We've been taught to think that, but ultimately it's their system.
Even though there were different tribes, we didn't carve up the land.
Right.
Can't say you
Tribalism was just more about we are who we
No,
are.
that
It's
was
existence.
that was culture.
It was culture. This
And-
is
and the
what-
root- and the root word-
I was born
Right.
right here. You were born right there. Let's exchange what I got over here.
Exactly.
And therefore, and then if there ever is any conflict, because conflict occurs, we will figure that's
Right.
survival of the fittest comes into play,
Right.
and then ultimately, I exist where I exist. You exist where you exist.
Right. And respect that.
Yeah. And that's all I'm asking you to do
Right.
is respect my boundaries. I don't want to come. I don't want to come and take over your land.
Exactly.
We can engage, but I'm from where I'm from, and you're from where you're from.
Right. But there's some things that we have in common that we didn't even have to talk about. Because we didn't outright rape
Right.
and rob and
Right.
steal and do these things. If
There's
a
principles.
couple of your
There's
cows
morality.
came over and destroyed my vegetables, then somebody has to pay for that. So you got to come work this land.
Right.
Some call that slavery. No,
Mhm.
it wasn't that. You had to repair my crops that you destroyed.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Someone looked at that and says, well, look, I could take thousands and millions of them
Right.
across the water, brainwash them, and I could build an entire nation for myself.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? You see, that's a child
Right.
not knowing its place in the human family,
Right.
and they're running rampant. Now that the parents went to sleep and been put to sleep, the children are running the house, and
The
that's
littles.
what we're seeing. The littles
The littles
are running the
running
house
the
right
house.
now. Exactly, on all levels.
On all levels.
On the cultural level. The root word to culture is cult. Cult is not a bad word.
Ooh. Come on now.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and then when you look at occult, just means hidden.
Right. Right.
If you didn't put on the turban and whatever, they
Right.
don't know what culture you from.
Right. Facts.
If you didn't call yourself Nick Cannon, but you went by one of your original names from one of your original tribe,
Right.
it's like it's all love. But see, they can't respect that,
They
though.
can't respect
You know
that.
why? Because you represent a man that's woke up.
Right. Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying?
As well as you. So, and that's where I want to dive in here real quick, because there are so many misconceptions
Right.
about who Professor Griff is. There's a lot of
You don't have me crack the book open.
and I want to dig just for a moment, because you've only been allowed to tell a portion of your story.
Right.
And then obviously we know within the media, they spin it the way that they want to spin it.
Right.
And they look at you as dangerous. They look at you
Yeah.
on the same levels of someone that may need to be silenced in those COINTELPRO type of
Right.
scenarios. But even like to the idea, like, people don't know that, one, you're a veteran.
Right.
You
I
were
was in the military, right.
You were the police.
I was military police, right.
So
And I worked in prison.
right.
Right.
So coming from, Long Island, coming from someone who, like, I would even ask this question: are you proud to be an American? Are you proud to be from the land that you are from? And who is Professor Griff in America today?
No, I'm not proud to be an American. I don't want no part
No
of this.
pride.
I don't have that pride. I'm not prideful about being from this particular country.
Right.
I'm glad that I came back to connect with my brothers and sisters here in America that was here long before Chris and the boys got here.
And that's
long
not-
before America
Say
Vespucci.
that.
Long before all of them people got here.
'Cause it's
We were
not-
already here.
Right. Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? So I'm glad to come back and
There's
see
a
my
difference between pride and glad. That's how I always like the.
Exactly.
You can be glad to be, but you don't have to have pride in it, because
Exactly.
pride, there's a lot of ego within
Right.
it.
We're forced to defend this land, a land that we can't even grow crops in to feed ourselves.
Mm.
All right.
on.
Thanks to Monsanto and the rest of them, but that's another story.
That's another Cannon's class.
Exactly. But I'm saying to you, no, I have tribal pride. My father's Blackfoot Native American.
Okay.
All right. I got greater than the tribe, though. The greater tribe, black people.
Mm-hmm.
I have pride. And I'm proud to say I'm connected to all of the carbon, copper, melanated people across the globe.
Come on now.
And we have something in common.
Yeah. And that
You understand what I'm
goes
saying?
back to what we were talking about, to the people who don't have that, who
Exactly.
have a deficiency in that, who want more of the melanin.
Exactly. And the way they see about getting the melanin is going through, please don't get offended, sisters, going through the black woman. The only way they can enter into the hereafter is through the black woman, by dropping and planting that seed.
Yeah, the God.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you come along and say, sister, you might need to find you a brother that you seriously, that can be your complement.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And then we get into colorism.
Yeah.
And these seats,
The lighter and the darker. Who has more
and
melanin
then
in
who
that?
set that in motion with the Willie Lynch letter?
Right.
See, but every time they see any glimpse of us coming back to ourselves, to connect back
Right.
to the self.
And then even
I think my wife said it better. Shout out to Soleil.
Right.
She says it's the
Queen.
journey of the self, through the self, back to the self.
right.
So if you understand that dynamic, it's like, wow, okay, I've been locked upside the head, put to sleep. I was the God then.
Right.
I've been put to sleep. Now I'm waking up. I don't even realize I'm a god, but I'm settling on being a nigga.
Right.
No, see, that's the journey of the self. Now I got to get back to the self. So
Right.
guess what happens with these books?
Right.
I got to introduce Tay-Tay and Twan and Peanut and Day-Day them back to themselves. Guess who gives me the most opposition? The same people I'm trying to wake up.
Exactly.
Who's the dude pulling a gun on me, wanting to rob me? Who's the dude that shot the window out of the car I was in? I'm going on my way to Vegas from L.A.
Right.
Who are the people that burned my house down right here on the west end of Atlanta? Who are the people that poisoned me with the drink? Who's the people that made me impotent?
Me.
For 6, the same people I'm trying to save.
Right.
Here I am, can't walk, can't pissing blood, and all this other kind of stuff for 6 months.
Right.
Because of what? Because I'm speaking the truth? I'm
Right.
like, wow. So to a degree, I understand people saying the government came after Nipsey. I understand because I lived it.
Right. Right.
For telling the truth, but
Right.
getting thrown under the bus by the rest of the brothers.
But ultimately, it was the concept.
Exactly. The idea that, wait a minute.
Let me brainwash and desensitize this brother so much that I can turn him against his own that's trying to enlighten.
Exactly. But I'm going to say this and take it how the people want to take it. There's some people walking around here right now that never thought I'd see this day. And this
Right.
is dangerous for them.
Too dangerous.
You know why? Because, wow, Nick doing the damn thing. Yo, Nick this, Nick that. He got the platform, whatever. But Griff,
Right.
like, why are you letting that? Stop that, man.
Stop that.
You can't find one thing on any program, on or offline, where I disrespect not only Jewish people, but gay people. I don't have that conversation like that.
Because you don't have that in your spirit.
It's not in my spirit because it's all love.
Right. So how is that message so misconstrued? Because we know why they do it. We know why we know that we seen COINTELPRO. We seen that they believe that we are dangerous when we unite.
But Nick, let me ask you. So let's just be frank and upfront and real with one another. Let's act like these cameras are not even on.
Yeah.
You mean to tell me you think they would allow a man like Professor Griff to strive, survive, and be successful in front of young black men not on drugs, not gay? I don't eat swine. I don't eat meat. I'm a vegan. I got a beautiful wife. I'm taking care of my family. Blah blah blah. You think they want that image to get out?
Okay, so let me ask you this then. Why am I allowed to do it? Because I want to be like Griff.
But no,
I look at you and say,
but we
he came
alike,
before
though.
me. Right. So, but I'm allowed. I've made a lot of money in this. I have a large platform as you speak. And I want to give brothers like yourself the opportunity to do it. And that's when they always say, "Oh, we gotta protect Nick Cannon. Oh, it's any minute they coming to get him." Or even if people want to say, "Oh, well, the government gave him lupus." I done seen all of the comments and the craziness and all of that. But I'm allowing myself, or I've been allowed to shine. I've been allowed to spread the light and say I wear my turban on NBC.
Right,
I say NBC stands for nigga be careful, and I walk away from tens of millions of dollars and then go create something even bigger and still get to and allowed to stand my ground and have character and have purpose.
All I can say is you're a dangerous man.
That's what Dick Gregory said.
You're a dangerous man.
They coming to get you. But it's only because I stand on the shoulders of brothers like you.
I
learn from you.
But how many people will actually say that, though, Nick? Come on, bro.
But it's the truth.
No, let me tell you something. And the people watching this will know this is rare. People don't invite me to shit. When have you seen me on a documentary film? Never.
Right.
So when they say, well, Mr. G says, yo, Nick want to meet you in blah, 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 and the Dr. Sabi thing and the Nipsey, I'm like, you sure?
Yeah.
Mr. G will tell you. I'm like, yo, you sure? You understand what I'm saying? He's like, yeah, man, dude, it's real. I'm like, all right.
But I was like too much is given, much is required. I was given these opportunities to be, one, because of brothers like you.
Okay.
But then two, because I got to pass it on to the next.
It's
I'd be doing a disservice if I came and got the bag, got all the money, and got all the information and kept it to myself.
I talked about it in the book. It's karmic debt.
Right.
We owe
karmic debt.
The karmic debt. And what you're doing is an example of what I'm about, paying it forward.
Right.
You're not going to run into Harriet Tubman at Whole Foods, bro.
Facts.
So you cannot hit her off with paying her grocery bill. But you can pass it forward to a sister.
Right.
That's the next Harriet Tubman.
Absolutely.
Karmic debt.
It's our duty.
Let's pay it forward.
It's our
man.
privilege.
Exactly.
And that's the only way we will survive. And that's what I mean. And I feel like I've had the opportunity to sit with brothers like Dick Gregory. You know what I mean? And
I sat with him several
and
times.
he said he passed before he transitioned. He's like he said it. I'm passing it to you.
Yeah.
He's like, now you got to go do what I couldn't do. And he said the same thing. He's like, man, you dangerous. I don't know. I don't understand. He's like, they wouldn't let me do what you doing.
Oh, no, they wouldn't let me do it either, bro. They kicked me out of a damn hip-hop group, so imagine.
Right.
On a television show.
But it's the same information. The information you've given me, the information Dick Gregory gave me, Harry Belafonte, Quincy Jones, all of these people that I got a chance to sit at their foot and soak up game. And now I can dissect it and regurgitate it out to the littles in these short form ways, whether it's Cannon's Class, whether it's Wildin' Out, whether it's, whatever I'm doing, whether it's Nickelodeon, to the little ones, to my kids.
Right.
I'm still giving them that game. You a god, you powerful, you a superhero.
Right.
You know what I mean? Everybody likes this Marvel concept now of the idea, but that they don't understand that originated with us. They getting a little bit of it. They giving them the Wakandas. They giving it a little, but ultimately, if all I'm talking about is the essence of who we actually are and expressing that light, as dangerous as it may be, it's the truth.
Right. And even this morning, man, I'm getting dressed. I'm like, I gotta bring this brother a gift, man. He got some. I'm thinking of a necklace. I'm like,
Man,
and I
your
just said,
wisdom is the gift.
But then I put my comic book in the car, and it's based on a Public Enemy song called "Who Stole the Soul."
Ooh.
And I'm like, that's it.
Appreciate that.
Who stole the soul? Why are we so out of sync? You understand
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Why is it that we're following the Gregorian calendar, throwing our whole time signature off?
That ain't even
It's
ours.
just, it's not. It's
and it
it's
goes back
off.
to the Dr. Sabi of it all. Like, it ain't even, as you call it, I love it. It's like, it's not about a diet. It's about a living.
It's a live it, yeah, man.
And Dr. Sabi always said that when they brought us over here to America, they didn't bring our food with us.
Right. We tried to hide seeds, man.
Yeah.
That's what it's about now. If you got
Because it's
the
different.
seeds, you can-
Yeah.
Exactly. The thing that's going to keep
Agriculture.
us alive will kill them.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Facts.
The foods that vibrate on a high level, the minerals and that kind of thing. And
Goes back to what I'm saying. We soak up the sun. We get power from
exactly.
the sun.
We process it.
They
You
die
understand?
on the sun.
Exactly.
The sun kills them.
Exactly.
It empowers us.
Right. With a high form of alchemy, we turn that into, we can get melanated and mellow at night. But when we serious, we get in that sun, we get turned up and lit. You understand what I'm saying? Because we got the melanin to do that, man.
Right.
You know, and a pineal gland that allows us to astroplane and do all the things that we do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But they don't get that.
Exactly. So brothers were saying, yeah, I'm having trouble with this. Blah, blah, blah. I said, bro, sit still for a minute. Take your jewelry off because you're interrupting the frequency.
Yep.
Pick your hair out. Let it
Right.
stop
And
dying
meditate.
and frying it. And
You're
just
right.
sit quiet for a second. It'll come to you.
It'll come to you.
It'll come to you.
That peace is there.
Exactly, man. It's there.
Man. So, I mean, we done tapped into a whole lot, and I
Yeah.
know the internet gonna go crazy. It's gonna definitely be some stuff that goes viral.
Yeah.
Even once they see us sitting down,
The mere fact that we're sitting together having a conversation, man.
is
You understand what I'm saying? Dressed in the black robes.
Right.
Who are the other people with the black robes that's faking it, though? They wrote the thing and they said it, not me.
Right.
They have a secret covenant, not me.
Right.
They plan to poison the water, poison the toothpaste, set up chemical plants and all this kind of stuff, bringing us down to our knees, putting
all
drugs in
there.
it. It's all there. I laid it out.
It's all there.
So even if the creator called me home tomorrow, I
Right.
said, listen, I did my part, and I'll be happy.
Right.
I'm going smiling. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And like Marcus Garvey said, I'm coming back.
Right.
Not only in the whirlwind, I'm coming back in the water. I'm coming back in your consciousness. I'm serious,
Energy
man.
never dies.
It never dies. It's constant. It
Right.
just changes forms. It's swift and interchangeable.
Right. And
For
that's what you
real.
said. When we on the same frequency, the power that we could do,
Exactly.
it's out of here. Hey, well, I appreciate this session. It's definitely an honor. One of my favorite
Thanks,
Cannon
man.
classes that we've
I
had.
really appreciate
so
you, man.
much knowledge.
But no, you dropped the jewels, though, man. It's like, I'm sitting there like, okay, Yeah.
And it's out there. It is the truth.
Right.
That's the thing. So we do it in an unapologetic way.
Give thanks.
Make sure y'all catch a Warriors Tapestry just for the introduction. And then when you want to go deeper, definitely get that psychological Cold War war on hip hop. And it's so much. Like you tap into so much. But if somebody, again, you already done gave out your phone number like a true solid G. But if someone wants to get more information on Professor Griff, how do they do it?
I think they just go to my website, www.professorgriff.me. Or like I said, just call me directly.
Yeah.
I'm one of them. I'm approachable. So 678-557-2919. And I just want to say, man, when we speak the truth, we claim it, we own it. It's ours. It's part of our makeup and who we are. What we ask you to do is just take what we say and put it under the microscope, and don't be so quick to judge.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Ask the questions.
Ask the questions.
That's all we here for. Like, 'cause
exactly.
The truth is right there.
And it's all love, man.
Yeah. Always all
The
love.
highest,
No hate.
highest
nothing.
elevation of complete understanding between one or more people. It's all love.
There
That's
it
the
is.
vibrational pitch. We sending this out. We want to raise the vibrational pitch of our thinking into the mind of the Creator.
It's gonna help so many people, man.
Oh,
Love.
thanks.
Love, God.
Respect.
Candy's class. We out.